Hey Jeff, I'm not happy. I want a divorce. Jeff was shocked, but not totally surprised. They'd been married for almost 20 years, but Darlene had been talking to her friend Miranda, who thinks she's an expert on marriage because she's been divorced 3 times. Jeff, are you even listening? I said I want a divorce. Yeah, I heard you, babe. But this is a big deal and I don't want to rush into anything. I feel like I've been a good husband and dad. Well, you haven't said anything about our sex life. I'm not really sure what's going on, but after listening to what you said, I've realized that I can't stand the thought of our marriage making you unhappy. No matter how hard it is, I'll back you up in getting a divorce. I'm just wondering if this is a new thing or if it's been brewing for a while. Darlene said, yeah, it's been building up. I need some space and time to explore other opportunities and meet new people. I think the court says we have to be officially separated within 90 days after we sign the papers, right? One day I might decide I want to stay married and not get divorced. Jeff was thinking about it and realized it's something other people going through divorce have done. We can date other people during the 90-day separation without it being considered cheating. But if we want to stop the divorce, we both have to agree. However, if one of us wants to go through with the divorce, we can do it without the other's approval. Jeff knew this, but Darlene didn't realize he had the same freedom as her. I thought that if I filed the paperwork first, I could decide whether to keep the marriage going or get a divorce. Darlene was unsure and Jeff didn't agree. I don't think that's right, but just to make it fair, I'll also file so we're both in the same boat. Does that sound okay? Darlene hesitated and said, I guess. Are you saying you want a divorce? It seems like I thought I was being a good husband, father, and partner, but maybe not. No, I don't want a divorce, but I won't stand in the way of your future, sweetheart. I never said you weren't good enough. You've been an amazing husband, dad, and partner. I just want to try new things and hang out with different people to see if it makes me happy. I just need some time and freedom to figure things out. Darlene, you wanting more than what I can give shows my flaws. Have you talked to a lawyer about getting a legal separation yet? Forget feeling inadequate, I haven't gotten the papers yet. I was thinking about hiring Junior Lewis because he dealt with Miranda's divorce and Darlene said Miranda pushed for more in the marriage. I might get my cousin Sally to handle my side of the divorce. Sally can be a real pain, I know you're not a fan of her, but she's actually a good person. Her tough reputation comes from her job where she fights hard for her clients, no matter who they are. Funny enough, at the last family party, she was probably just a bit drunk. Sally said she'd represent me for free if I ever needed a divorce lawyer. Wow. Jeff added that we should have a chat about something important. He suggested that I should spend the next 2 weeks getting ready for the divorce so we can start the separation on the 1st of the month. I'm cool with that, but I'm not sure why we should wait until the separation is over to do anything. Jeff explained that the point of the separation is to see what life would be like after divorce, to help us figure out if that's really what we want. So, this time apart should be used to. Let's test out life after divorce to see if we can figure things out before the messy divorce happens. Does that make sense to you? I hadn't thought about it until now. Darlene's confidence was starting to fade. How about this? Let's go to the kitchen, grab a notepad, and start planning out what we need to do. I'll make some coffee. With those words, Jeff got out of bed and headed to the kitchen, leaving Darlene to ponder. When Darlene entered the kitchen, the coffee was already brewing and Jeff was jotting down notes. All right, Jeff said, let's get started. There's a lot to think about and it's tough to figure out where to begin. I think we should talk about the kids first. What do you mean? Darlene asked. We need to talk to them about what's going on, make sure we're both on the same page, and let them know that our divorce isn't because of them, Jeff explained. Darlene was worried about how their daughters would react to the news and wondered if we really needed to tell them right away. She suggested waiting 90 days. Jeff was like, maybe we just don't even tell them. But then he was all, nah, we gotta have a plan for when our daughter starts asking questions about the breakup. He suggested that Darlene should stay in the house while they figure things out, so the kids don't get too messed up and they can still hang out sometimes. Darlene wasn't feeling it though, she brought up some problems with their plan. She was worried about how they'd coordinate their social lives and one of them getting all salty about it. Another person didn't want to go out. She made it clear how important it is to really live life after a divorce and how it can affect the kids if they see their parents dating other people. She stressed the need to be honest with not just their daughters, but also with family and friends to avoid any rumors of cheating. They knew that their kids might blame themselves, even though they've been told repeatedly how important it is to be consistent and show love. So, it looks like we might need to get some therapy for the kids, but I'm staying positive that they'll bounce back. Jeff mentioned how the kids might end up with even more grandparents from their new stepparents, which could mean more presents on special occasions. But we gotta make sure we plan things like birthdays and holidays carefully. Jeff also stressed the importance of keeping our personal relationships on the down low, saying it's better to meet up with our partners somewhere else rather than bringing them home to meet the other person. So, Jeff was talking to Darlene about how their finances would change with two households now that they're splitting up. He was saying they're gonna have to start managing their money separately and covering all their expenses on their own. Jeff made it clear that it's typical to split assets evenly in a divorce, like closing joint accounts and sorting out child support. Darlene was just sitting there, shocked and not knowing what to say to Jeff before the big day comes. I'm gonna try to find a place near my work so the girls have a place to crash when they come over on the nights I have visitation. Most divorces have a standard visitation schedule where the non-resident parent gets to see the kids every weekend and every other holiday, unless the other parent agrees to something else. Darlene was shocked that Jeff wasn't dating more, considering how much he and their daughters enjoy hanging out together despite their different interests. Jeff assured her that he was focused on his family for now. He said he wants to be really involved in their lives, but Darlene and her partner should be ready to pitch in with some of the stuff he's doing now. He talked about how it might be tough to come over every night because of school stuff. He also brought up helping out with a new partner's kids with schoolwork and stuff, hinting that Darlene might have to help out with her new husband's kids too. Jeff mentioned things like keeping stuff in two places and getting around, especially if he doesn't live on a bus route to their school, which could mess up their routine. Miranda told Darlene that this is not going as planned. She said my husband would give in to the idea of divorce, promising to still provide for the family while letting me see other people on the side. Jeff, I'm losing control of the situation quickly. I'm shocked. I need some rest, let's meet again tomorrow. I'm going back to bed, you go ahead. Sorry, honey, but I have something else to take care of before going to bed. Do you get where I'm coming from? The more we prepare before the first day, the more relaxed we'll be. Good night, sweetheart. Darlene didn't sleep much, she needed to talk to Miranda and tell her about Jeff's surprising response. Miranda would get it, so she could finally doze off. When she woke up, Jeff wasn't in bed with her. Oh my God, he must have worked on the divorce checklist all night. But when Jeff came into the kitchen, he wasn't there, just a notepad on the table. Darlene looked closely at the. Jane walked into the spare room and found her hubby knocked out. She went back to the kitchen and started making dinner. While the food was cooking, she grabbed her notebook and started jotting down all the stuff she needed to switch up, like changing the mortgage, home insurance, utilities, gas, water, electricity, cable, cell phone plan, garbage service, internet security, car payment, auto insurance, health insurance, dental insurance, Amazon Prime, LifeLock membership, Life Flight, and Metac. It was a lot to tackle. Besides the changes we talked about with the bank yesterday, there was a breakdown of his spending estimates for his time in the flat on the next page. It also showed how much child support she'd need to keep up their lifestyle, but there was a shortfall of a few $100 every month. He mentioned cutting costs by ditching his regular trips to Waffle House and Starbucks, which she found funny. She also listed her own expenses like gym membership, joining a ladies' group and going out to eat more than once a week. He even covered some of the kids' costs like sports fees, clothes, and essentials. She didn't think about how it would affect the kids in her plan for the divorce. On a separate list, he listed tasks for Darlene to do, like filling up the car, keeping it maintained, calling a tech or plumber when needed, getting the heating and AC fixed, taking care of the lawn, washing the car, and doing the grocery shopping. So she had to put away her notepad. Damn it. Why isn't Jeff acting right and giving me what I need? I gotta call Miranda before Jeff wakes up. Hey Miranda, it's Darlene. We gotta keep it down, 'cause Jeff's sleeping nearby. How'd things go last night? Miranda sounded excited as she waited for Darlene to give her some good news. Instead of asking how he could change to keep me from leaving him, He just agreed to the divorce and started listing all the things he's responsible for. Right now, Jeff is saying that if we split up, I'll have to take care of the girls. He's thinking about renting an apartment and only seeing them on weekends. He's suggesting that we separate and act like we're already divorced for 90 days before deciding if we want to go through with it. He doesn't seem scared of getting divorced. What should I do? Pay attention, girl, he's just trying to control you. He's lying and he's not going to sign any papers. This is a manipulation tactic. It's a shame that he feels the need to list all the little things he does to make you dependent on him. The bottom line is that you control the kids and what goes on in the bedroom. Those are the only things that keep him in check. It's all just talk from him, so don't stress. Soon enough, you and Robert will be getting busy in bed while still having a husband at home. I hope you're sure about this and that Robert is worth it. Jeff hasn't done anything yet. I'll stay strong until I figure out what's going on. His next move is to thank Miranda. He's getting up. I gotta go. Hey Jeffrey, want some coffee? Darlene asked nervously. Her husband walked over to the coffee pot and said that drinking coffee late at night isn't a good idea. I hardly slept. Why didn't you come to bed with me? I went for a walk, but I didn't trust myself. What do you mean, sweetheart? When I saw you sleeping naked, I got pretty turned on. You're still the most beautiful woman to me. I'm unsure. I'm scared that if we do end up having sex, it'll just be out of pity. To ease my pain from the divorce suggestion, I wasn't sure if I could handle it. Sweetheart, we're still married and I only belong to you, at least until we officially split. Can't we act like a couple until then? I'm afraid not. I'm more convinced than ever that we need to start the separation process right away. Even though the official split won't happen until the 1st of the month, it effectively started on the 2nd like you mentioned. I'm unhappy about it and it's going to be tough for me, but I really just want to see you happy even if I'm not a priority anymore. Darlene told Jeff that their breakup didn't mean they had to get divorced. She told him to chill out and let her figure things out on her own. She was hopeful they could work things out and make their marriage even stronger. Jeff wasn't so sure and said he needed to take a day off to deal with the issues. He said Billy would handle the maintenance teams and talked about how they would handle money and accounting. Hey, make sure you hustle and don't be late for work. I'll make breakfast and take the kids to school later. Oh, and guess what? Robert, that smooth talker from work, came by to hit on you. You got all flustered but agreed to hang out and listen to music later. Your mind went from Jeff to fantasizing about getting frisky with Robert in the elevator. When you got home, you saw signs that Jeff had been there earlier. It made you feel better. He was ready to tackle the money problems he brought up, but he seemed to be thinking, I have 3 months to figure this out, stay married, and then see if I can make things work with Robert without getting caught. As she sat at the kitchen table, she glanced at her notebook one more time. Jeff had added some things to the list, but she couldn't help but notice a new list titled, Potential Girls for Today. It had 2 columns, one for women who have shown interest before, and another for women who might be interested. So, I was scrolling through this list and saw some names that totally threw me off. And guess what? My sister Erica's name was on it. I quickly called her up hey girl, what's up? Erica was I'm good, what's going on? And then she hit me with, why are you trying to steal my men? I was whoa, chill out. Jeff made this list of girls who want to date him, and your name is on it. I mean, I don't know about this list, but I did kinda mention to Jeff once when I was tipsy that if he ever got his act together and dumped your ungrateful self, I'd be down to take your spot. So, just hold up a sec. What's up? He's giving you a list of girls who are into him. Are you saying it's chaos and paradise? Did you catch him or did he catch you with someone else? That doesn't matter, I just told him I need some time to myself to see other people. Erica, cut it out. Are you looking for something on the side? Who is it, or are there multiple people? No, I haven't been with anyone yet. Jeff and I are just going through our 90-day break before deciding. Should we stay married or not? So, Erica called out Darlene for thinking about someone else and didn't seem interested. She asked Darlene about their upcoming divorce and warned that if anyone wanted to hook up with Jeff, Darlene couldn't do anything about it. Erica promised to go after Jeff once Darlene was officially separated, pledging her loyalty to him. Darlene justified her choice to leave Jeff, saying it was her idea even though she had praised him as a husband before. Erica, the chick who provides services, straight up called Darlene's behavior stupid and naive because Jeff is a stand-up guy as a husband, dad, and lover. She told Darlene to hit her up when she's finally done with the marriage, then hung up. Darlene tried to chill out, but seeing the list of women again just stressed her out even more. And wouldn't you know it, Jenny, Jeff's secretary, a hot single mom who's way younger than Jeff, was at the top of the list. 3 other ladies were included, one of them married, indicated by the letter M next to her name, expressing interest in dating Darlene's husband and possibly finding a provider for herself and her child. The rest of the ladies were colleagues of Jeff, some of whom Darlene knew from the neighborhood. Despite having a degree in psychology, Jeff had worked as a laborer in college and had a passion for his craft. His business had grown to include 3 teams, and Darlene felt he was checking out these women's plumbing. Yo, so the 3 mystery ladies on the list were just some Waffle House waitress, a Starbucks barista, and a Walmart salesperson. She was curious if other chicks thought he was as hot as Erica did. She didn't think he'd be dating while they were on a break, but now she's wondering if he's already got someone else lined up. Jeff came home and caught his wife snooping through a notebook. He could tell a serious talk was coming. Looks like you were snooping for nothing, huh? No way, why are you trying to find someone to replace me, especially my own sister? How could you? Darlene asked. I was just checking to see if you found a boyfriend yet, Jeff replied. What do you mean? I don't have a boyfriend, I'm just open to new relationships, Jeff clarified. What about Robert Turner? Jeffrey asked. How do you know about him? Darlene questioned. What are you up to today? I saw Sylvia, your boss's secretary, at Walmart during lunch. She's a big gossip, so don't believe everything she says, Jeff warned. After a moment of silence, Darlene couldn't help but ask, what did she say? Apparently, Sylvia thinks you're tight with Robert Turner, one of our new partners. She says he's always dropping by your office and you two have lunch together every day. I asked Darlene what the deal was, considering our company's strict no fraternization policy. Jeff explained that I told her Robert is an old college buddy and we hang out a lot, which is why Sylvia thinks he might be one of the guys you were thinking about. During our break, Darlene was like, how deep are you into your research? And Jeff was like, so, have you and Robert been getting cozy? Darlene quickly shut that down, saying they're just friends and haven't really done much besides chat. But then she dropped the bomb that she might actually be into him. Darlene spilled that he's always nice to her and compliments her, even when she's looking rough. Jeff pushed for more details, and Darlene's expression said it all when she talked about those elevator moments. Jeff then asked if they did anything that Robert's supposed wife didn't like. Darlene was like, wife? He's not married, who told you that? Darlene was like, Jeff spilled the beans on his Facebook after doing some online snooping. Is it Robert Turner? Yup, it's him, Darlene confirmed. What about his relationship status? Jeff asked. It says he's married to Cynthia and has 2 kids, Darlene admitted. Maybe he's divorced now, she suggested. The page was updated 3 days ago. Check out what his wife wrote last. It seems like they're still going strong, Jeff noted. He never told me he was married. I would never be a homewrecker, Jeff insisted. It seems like you're ready to call it quits on our marriage, Jeff said. Darlene didn't say anything, she knew she was stuck and needed time to think. Robert was the main reason she was thinking about ending things, but she couldn't tell Jeff that. He was just one of many guys she might want to date. I could make a list just like you, she said, trying to change the subject. Oh my God, I just remembered something important. If we want to stay married after the separation, we have to swap medical records to make sure we're both healthy. Jeff interrupted, you're being nasty right now. Darlene replied, it's just a precaution. I wasn't planning on dating anyone, especially since it's only for 90 days. But if I get the urge, I can find someone. I'm sure you want to feel safe too. It's not just about you, it depends on who you're hooking up with, who they've been with, and so on. Jeff tried to hide his excitement for fixing things as Darlene continued to rant. Changing the subject, he said, okay, dear, I promise to update you on what I'm doing. I did some stuff today to help with the breakup. I've got a ton of things to deal with, starting with sorting out bank and credit card stuff ASAP so you can get to your money easily. Sorting out the mortgage, utilities, and other stuff will probably be sorted out within the next week. Oh, and I have good news about money. By the way, did I tell you that my secretary Jenny is a night manager at the Royal Arms? Those apartments are in a good location, so I asked about availability. They have a 2-bedroom unit free, but we need to move fast. Hey, so usually those apartments are pretty pricey, but she mentioned that if I get a job as a maintenance guy there, I could get a 50% discount on rent. That means more cash in your pocket for you and the kids. You haven't signed the lease yet, right? Just remember, we have 90 days, and if you play your cards right, you could end up back here. She thought about saying his secretary is only after his money, but she decided not to stir up any drama. Nope, I haven't finished signing the lease yet, but I had to explain why I was checking it out. So, when she asked about renting an apartment, she said they don't usually do month-to-month leases. But she did say she might make an exception for a 90-day lease. Then, when Jenny found out about the divorce, she started showing interest in me. I was shocked because of our age difference and all that. I had no clue she thought I was attractive. I politely turned her down, saying it goes against company rules for employees and managers to have anything but professional relationships. Jenny suggested she find a new job if that was the issue. That's why I mentioned it in the first place. So, Darlene was totally pissed off when she saw the list, but she didn't say anything cause she knew it would only make things worse. Then, out of nowhere, Jeff drops a bombshell. He's booked us 2 tickets for a 10-day trip to Hawaii for our 20th anniversary. Darlene's mood did a complete 180. She was thrilled. I've always wanted to go to Hawaii. I can't wait to chill on the beach and take a dip in the ocean. Thanks a million, Jeff. Thank you, thank you. But Jeff's face didn't look as happy as his wife's. We're not going to Hawaii after all. When you brought up divorce, I started thinking maybe we won't make it to our 20th anniversary. I tried to cancel and get a refund, but they said it was too late. They're only giving us 20% back. After thinking about it, I realized you want to go to Hawaii more than I do. I figured you still might want to go, so I asked them to change the tickets for you and a guest, who I'll name later. It might work. It would be awesome to kick off your new relationship by giving your new guy a trip to Hawaii, but Jeff, I really wanted to go to Hawaii with you. Maybe we should hold off on breaking up. Actually, now that I've had some time to think about things, I'm considering calling off the whole thing. I'm not as miserable as I thought. I'm sorry, babe. I've really thought about it, and I don't think I could handle the constant threat of divorce hanging over us, even if you cancel it now. You can't take back what you wanted, and I can't stop thinking about what you and Robert might have gotten up to when you were just chilling. I'm probably gonna go through with the divorce no matter what you decide, but I can't picture my life without you and just being a part-time dad to my girls. Jeff then went up to the guest bedroom to retire for the night, leaving Darlene devastated. She only had one person to talk to, Miranda. She called out, "Hey Darlene, what's up?" And Darlene replied, "Everything's a mess." So, basically, Jeff got a new apartment and his sexy secretary is already hitting on him. Even my sister is interested in him. The worst part is, he had tickets to Hawaii for our anniversary and gave them to me to use, but he's not leaving. He said I can take my new partner instead. What should I do now? Oh, hey, what's up? You and Robert are gonna have an awesome time in Hawaii, soaking up the sun and having some fun. Oh wait, I just found out Robert is married and his wife and kids are moving here soon. I can't do this, I just can't. Hey, I wanna go to Hawaii with him. I wanna go with Jeff. Hold up, I think I just figured out what's going on, Miranda interrupted. Wow, Jeff is smarter than I thought. He says he booked the trip ages ago. It was just a trick to make you feel guilty and delay the divorce. Don't stress, with your amazing looks, you'll easily find guys as good as, if not better than Robert, all while keeping your marriage and family intact. Oh my God, I never knew he could be so sneaky. He's gonna pay for this. Thanks Miranda, I was ready to throw in the towel. He's gonna be sorry. Let's catch up later. Jeff came down the stairs with a small bag. So you're trying to make it look like you've already left. Don't sweat it, bye. Actually, I was just planning to bring some stuff to the apartment to avoid carrying it all at once. The girls were surprised. Jenny said I could start moving things in before the first since the place was empty. Your attitude seems different now, what's up? Looks like you were talking to your marriage counselor Miranda. She's a divorce expert and that's all she could handle. Don't try to piss me off by disrespecting Miranda, she's on my team. She found out about your sneaky plan with the Hawaii tickets. You made up that story to try and make me give up everything. Nice try. I still want a divorce and can't wait for it to be over. There are plenty of guys who want me and are willing to give me what I want. You're right, especially with all the attention you'll get from other men. I have no doubt about that. Once people find out you're single, you'll start getting a ton of offers. I've always felt lucky to have such a gorgeous lady like you as my partner in raising our kids, and up until recently, as my devoted wife and lover. You're totally wrong about the Hawaii trip, and I can prove it. Just give Lois Simpson a call at the Flightright travel agency. I'll call her right now. Hey Lois, it's Jeff Sinclair again. My wife is on speakerphone, so you can tell her about the trip. She has a few questions. Hey Jeff, sorry you can't make it to the trip. I know you were really looking forward to surprising your wife and having a good time on vacation. What do you need for the trip, Mrs. Sinclair? Darlene wants to know. Can you tell us what's included in this adventure? It's a 10-day trip to 2 islands with top-rated hotels, food, transportation, hula lessons, luau dinners, traditional tiki performances, surfing, swimming, and dancing in a romantic setting. Couples have said it totally changed their marriage. When did your husband first plan this trip? Darlene thought it would totally expose her. Let me check our records. He inquired about it around 3 months ago, then decided on the trip 2 months ago and paid for it 2 weeks later. He just called yesterday to cancel, so we're giving back 20%. I was shocked when he suggested you find someone else to go with. That says a lot about the kind of husband he is. You're lucky, but if we have more questions, we'll need the other person's name to book the flight tickets. No more questions, Darlene replied. I'll get back to you soon with the name. She tried to guess Miranda's reaction based on this info and after a moment, it clicked. You think you've outsmarted me again, don't you? You and Lois are planning this Hawaii trip story before I even mentioned divorce. Okay, I get it now. She was proud of herself for figuring it out without Miranda's help. Jeff threw. I let out a big sigh and told you to talk to your parents. What do my parents have to do with this? Who do you think will take care of the girls while we're gone? Fine, let's call them, Darlene responded, caught off guard. There's no need to rush in there, I'm already dialing, Jeff said. But when Jeff's mother answered the phone and recognized the caller's number, Darlene said, How are the girls? Glad you called. Hello, Mom, Darlene greeted hesitantly. Mom, this is Jeff, we're on speakerphone. Hold on, let me get Dad, Darlene said, hearing her father's voice. Background, Harold, it's Jeff and Darlene. What's up, guys? Harold chimed in after Darlene stayed quiet. Jeff spoke up, saying Darlene already knows, so no need to keep it a secret. Son, we're sorry you can't make it. You didn't say why when you called earlier. I hope it's not a health issue. We were bummed when you called this morning saying we couldn't babysit the girls for your Hawaii trip. We were excited to have them with us. We were away for 10 days and we felt really bad for Darlene that you couldn't go with her. We know she really wants to go, but she'd rather go with you than anyone else. Darlene, have you figured out who you're taking? It's gonna be tough for whoever ends up staying, her dad said. No, Mom, I haven't decided yet, she replied. Hey, how long ago did Jeff mention the Hawaii trip to you? I'm not sure, Harold asked. Do you remember if it was around New Year's? I'm pretty sure it was like 2 or 3 months ago. He mentioned it early so we could stock up on snacks, those two can really eat. Darlene's mom was like, you can eat anything and not gain weight. Jeff's mom got involved and was like, is everything okay with Darlene? Why are you asking? Jeff was like, did something happen between you two? Did you guys break up? Darlene's mom asked. No ma'am, not really. We just realized we needed some time apart to work on our marriage and maybe get back together, Darlene explained. I'm not gonna lie to your parents, they've always been straight with me, Jeff interrupted. Mom, let me handle this, Darlene said. I didn't mean to freak you out, I just wanted to clarify that the first thing you gotta do in a divorce is separate for 90 days. I'm hoping this time apart will help me figure myself out, explore new things, and work on being a better wife and mom. And just so you know, my mom's opinion doesn't sway me. Harold can spot fake news a mile away. Darlene, are you seeing someone on the side? Nah, not even close, Dad. Darlene shut down that rumor quick. Jeff thought about speaking up, but decided to stay quiet. Harold kept pushing the topic, though. Wife was crying in the background, I can't believe you would do something like that. We raised you better than this, I'm really disappointed. Don't expect us to be nice to your new guy, Darlene. We're sorry, Jeff, at least promise us we can see our grandkids after the divorce. Darlene cut in while crying. Jeff has blown this whole thing out of proportion. Forget what I said, there's no divorce, no separation. I'll talk to you later. Hey, chill out Darlene, the girls will be back soon. Get yourself together. Jeff grabbed his suitcase and headed towards the door. Where do you think you're going? Didn't you hear me? I don't want a divorce. You don't need to go anywhere. You can't just decide we're getting divorced without talking to me first. And now you think you can just say we're not getting divorced because things aren't going your way. You don't get that I have a say in this too. I heard about you last week and I'm not sure if quitting on our marriage is the best move. I'll grab a sleeping bag from the garage and crash at the flat tonight. Jeff, please don't leave. I'm sorry for bringing up the divorce talk again. Can we just move on and go back to how things were? You said you were happy, and I was too. But I can't shake off the fact that you mentioned being unhappy and wanting to cheat with Robert, like I already told you. Already cheating on me, Sally said she could whip up the divorce papers no problem since the terms were pretty standard. She might even serve them to me tomorrow, but I ain't signing them, Darlene snapped back. Doesn't matter, Sally just needs to make sure you get formally served. She might even do it at your work to make sure there are plenty of witnesses. Maybe Robert could claim emotional distance. I could even serve your boss for breaking business rules, but that's pushing it. I need you to be able to take care of the girls. When we split up, I know I'll have a chat with Robert's old lady as a way to make things right. Why you gotta be so cold to me? I love you, and I know you love me too. Can't we fix this somehow? You said divorce would be tough on both of us, don't you want to avoid all this pain? I promise I won't bring up the D word again, just stay and let's figure it out. Darlene pleaded with tears, but Jeff stayed silent and still. Darlene felt like she had gotten through to him. I swear I'll be the best damn wife in the world. I can't believe you won't even look at another guy. I've been by your side for almost 20 years, we have 2 amazing kids, and I've always supported your business even when it meant you coming home late and covered in dirt. I've always been proud of what you've achieved, everyone makes mistakes. Just give me one more chance, please, Darlene begged. Jeff finally responded, fine, I'll go stay at the apartment with my suitcase and sleeping bag. Write down the things you think I've done wrong, your words and actions have hurt me more than you realize. If your comments are what I expect, I might call off or delay the divorce. I'll be home by 7 o'clock, so you should consider sending the kids to their grandparents or friends so we can talk without interruptions. Yes, thank you. What should I write first? First and foremost, I want an apology for causing this whole mess, and I want you to apologize with me, not just ask but beg for my forgiveness. Second, tell Robert to stop contacting you. If he doesn't listen, warn him that there will be consequences if he continues. I'm gonna sue his ass in your company. Make a list of reasons why I should stay married to you. Call Miranda and tell her to never contact us again, no negotiations. If I hear about Miranda again, I'm out. You got that? If you want to try to save our marriage, be ready by 7 o'clock. See you at 7 o'clock. Jeff picked up a suitcase and left. Darlene focused on the last thing on her to-do list. She mentally rehearsed what she would say to Miranda. Listening to you was the biggest mistake I ever made. Because of you, I almost lost everything I care about. Don't try to contact me by phone, text, email, or even think about me. If we happen to see each other in public, stay away or I won't be responsible for what I do. Darlene was surprised by how relieved she felt after confronting Miranda. She called Robert to pass on Jeff's instructions and remembered his urgent plea to meet up. Last time at the motel, they started arguing and insulting each other. She felt like he was attacking her and told him she would tell his wife if he didn't stop causing problems. Coming up with reasons why Jeff should stay married turned out to be a piece of cake. Darlene, no longer wanting more from Jeff, looked back on the good times they had together. She even made a list hoping to win Jeff back and show she regretted faking the divorce. She realized how stupid, selfish, and full of herself she had been. Darlene never wanted to feel that way again. Feeling ready and sure of myself as the clock neared 7 o'clock, but when the time came and Jeff still hadn't returned, a bit of worry started to creep in. He popped back up 5 minutes later, but he didn't have his stuff with him. His face hadn't changed from when he left earlier. Darlene tried to keep calm and nice while giving him her answers. "Here's what I said," hoping Jeff would reconsider. He looked over the list for a long time. Seeing him cry made tears well up in his eyes. Darlene started crying too, seeing his emotional breakdown as a glimmer of hope. "Wow, this is really something," he said as she stood up to hug him. Darlene's heart skipped a beat with hope, but he gestured for her to stay seated. "You've done well, but I don't think you understand how much pain you've caused me," he expressed, hinting at the possibility of a divorce. Darlene felt devastated, as if her heart had been broken and dropped to the floor. She cried uncontrollably, her sadness taking her to new lows as she mourned, "I've destroyed my family's lives. I'm the worst person ever, I shouldn't even be alive. How could I have been so stupid?" Jeff kneeled in front of her and quietly said, "Now you know how I felt." Jeff was about to leave but stopped, looking back at Darlene who was still crying on the floor. "Can we see other people while we're apart? I'm feeling really emotional." Darlene tried to respond but her tears made it hard to talk. "If it's okay to date other people, what are you doing Friday night? Wanna grab dinner and watch a movie? He asked me out on a date." Darlene couldn't believe it, she exclaimed. "Yes, I think we've changed our relationship for good, but maybe we can start fresh. He asked me out with hope." Darlene charged towards Jeff. "And here's the next part of the story. It was crazy how my life changed in just one night, all because I got too close to a famous actor at the club. I had no clue he would react so badly, but it was my first time meeting a celebrity. Man, I had way too many cocktails and it totally messed me up. I made a huge mistake and paid for it big time. My friends invited me to a club to help me relax after a tough week, but they had no clue I would go way overboard and regret it later. I shouldn't have gone with them in the first place. I tagged along with my friends to try and forget about my problems for a bit. When we got to the club, the music and atmosphere were just what I needed. I was fully prepared for everything to go to shit, but somehow my buddies managed to snag a table in the VIP area of the club. I have no idea how they pulled it off, but hey, I wasn't complaining. My only job was to stick with them and chug down all the drinks, because let's be real, I deserved every drop. So, I tagged along into the VIP section where the booze just kept on coming. Before I knew it, I was totally wasted, the music was pumping, and I was having the time of my life. Then my friends started chatting and motioned towards a private section of the VIP area. I jumped in on the convo and found out. So, the dude they were pointing at was actually a local celeb who just rolled into the club with his crew. I had no clue that famous people actually hit up clubs, especially the one me and my boys were at. I was hyped to see a celeb in person for the first time, so I just had to get a closer look. I pretended I needed to hit the bathroom, but really I was gonna try and sneak past his squad to get a good look. So, I saw this dude's face and I was like, damn, is that a celeb? I mean, come on, you would have done the same thing, right? Maybe you would have backed off when the guy's security kicked you out, but not me. I kept at it, and let me tell you, it didn't end well. But hey, don't judge me. After they tossed me out, I went back to my friends and saw they were just chilling, ordering more drinks. They didn't even care about the star anymore, but I couldn't shake the feeling. I had to find out who this guy was. So, check it, I was out drinking with my buddies and we came up with this wild plan that ended up causing a whole lot of trouble. I downed 3 shots to pump myself up, which was mistake number 1. I swaggered over to where the celeb and his posse were partying, and somehow managed to blend in on the dance floor. Honestly, it's all a blur in my mind. I got in on the action, sipped on some fancy drink, and got all up close and personal with this dude who turned out to be a famous actor. I wasted no time snapping pics, but then one of the bouncers caught me and... man, I totally smashed my phone, and that's when everything went to shit. I started screaming like crazy and saying stuff I can't even remember now, but I know it was bad. They just wrecked my phone when I was already going through a rough time, thinking they could just get away with it. I made a big scene at the bar, and the staff had to kick me out, and then my friends got kicked out too. Now we're all banned from going back just because of some dumbass move. And now, 4 months later, the same shit is happening again. So, this actor is trying to sue me for talking crap about him, trying to get money out of him, bribing him, and posting a picture that I got legally, among other things. LOL. You might be wondering how I got mixed up in all this mess after my phone got messed up. Well, there's this thing called iCloud, but that's not the point. Why was I still hanging out with this actor 4 months later? The million-dollar question. I had sold the actor's pics to news sites and used them to blackmail him. I was desperate and let my power go to my head. Hey, I'm Lois, and I'm spilling the tea. Hey y'all, I ain't gonna give you my grandma's name, 'cause I seen on this site nobody uses their real name when they talk about stuff anyways. I'm 26 years old and I've gone and got myself disowned, messed up my life, and wasted a bunch of my parents' money all in just 6 months. As soon as the clock hit midnight on New Year's Day, I knew this year was gonna be a disaster. But I tried to stay positive. What did I do that was so bad? Well, I did a whole lot of things. I'm here now to share my feelings with y'all, hoping for some support. I'm not gonna judge, it doesn't matter what you say to me. You don't know anything about my life. So, the night after I got my friends kicked out of one of America's fanciest clubs, things just went downhill from there. I'm not gonna tell you where I live in case you all go nuts and start sending me hate mail. I didn't have a phone and I had just been fired from my job, which was the main reason for my crappy day. And to top it off, my ex-boyfriend's sister put a curse on me for supposedly breaking her brother's heart. Anyway, that night turned out to be a disaster. Man, that was the worst. I was so mad that I decided to get back at that dumb celeb and make him replace my phone. I was really upset and felt like it was so unfair what happened to me. Yeah, I know I kinda invaded his privacy, but all I wanted was some pics. So, I emailed the actor, I won't say who it is, but you can probably guess, and told him that his security messed up my phone when I just wanted a couple of pics with him. And now I'm done. So, I had this phone and told this guy to hit me up in a day or two, but it's been 2 weeks and I still haven't heard from him. I was so mad because I didn't have a job that could pay for a new phone, even though I have a degree. I was broke, working in a cafe, and my parents were giving me the silent treatment. My mom thinks I'm a loser because I didn't make the most of the chance they gave me. They're pissed because I cheated on my boyfriend wanted to marry me, but he did it in a really messed up way. I mean, all I did was break up with him at the wedding altar after he blew all his savings on the wedding I always wanted. Then, 2 days later, he caught me in bed with the plumber who was supposed to be fixing our pipes while we were supposed to be on our honeymoon. But it's not my fault. I told him I wasn't ready to get married right then and there. I was still trying to get my life together, and he goes and plans a whole wedding behind my back with my friends and family. Thinking he could impress me, he was in for a shock when I dumped him at the altar. I never liked him, and to be real, I had been cheating on him since our 1-year anniversary. That's why his sister kept calling me every 2 weeks to hurl insults at me. I don't feel bad about what I did, but I do regret how I did it. It was pretty awful to see my ex's face when I said no at the wedding altar. We had been together since college, but that's not important. I just wanted to. Let me tell you guys how karma really screwed me over. It was totally my fault and I own up to it. I was a real troublemaker and didn't give a damn about who I hurt. I had lost interest in my boyfriend, but instead of ending things, I stuck around because he was still giving me stuff that my parents had stopped providing since I refused to get a job with my degree. I've been spoiled ever since I was a kid. Long story short, my parents gave me everything. I wanted everything from the day I was born until I graduated college. But once I was done, my parents stopped funding my lifestyle. So, I turned to my boyfriend, who I started dating in college. He would do anything for me, but I took him for granted. I started cheating on him 2 years into our relationship because I didn't find him attractive anymore. Our sex life was boring, so I found excitement with the plumber. Honestly, I was stringing my boyfriend along until he popped the question and messed everything up. I never wanted to be tied down by marriage, especially after all the crap that went down last year. So, I ended things in front of everyone, broke his heart, and he turned into the bad guy just like that. It's been about 6 months since I ended things with my ex, and ever since then my parents won't even acknowledge me and most of my friends can't stand me. But hey, at least the ones who don't know about my shady past still hang around. Hey boyfriend, so basically I was forced to find a job and I sucked at it so bad that I got fired. Then I ended up drinking and getting into some drama with a famous actor and his bodyguards. Now my life is a mess and it all started from there. The actor won't even reply to my emails to give me back my phone. I already spent my last paycheck on food and rent. I was crashing at a friend's place, one of the ones who didn't even know I had a boyfriend or almost got married. I had no idea my life was gonna end up like this. After finally paying my friend the rent I owed her way past the due date, and buying groceries, I was flat broke and needed a new phone. I didn't know who else to turn to for money, so I ended up emailing the actor as a last resort. Turns out, it wasn't actually my last resort, LOL. Luckily, or maybe unluckily, my friend had just gotten a new phone and gave me her old one, with the promise that I'd pay her back. So, I logged into So I was scrolling through iCloud and came across some pics of that famous actor wasted out of his mind. He had been ignoring my emails and texts, and to top it off, he was the reason my phone got smashed. He wouldn't own up to his mistakes or his security team's mistakes, so I had to take matters into my own hands. I found a way to get his attention, so I sent the drunk pics to his email with a little message. If he doesn't respond, well, we'll see what happens. LOL. Got a reply in less than a day, was about to post a pic on a blog and bam, got a response within 2 hours. Haha, that's the quickest reply I've ever gotten from them. It seems like they've been ignoring my emails, but now that I'm in control, they had to respond. And get this, whoever was managing this actor's email told me to delete the pic or face the consequences, instead of trying to work something out. Yo, so basically, I'm trying to get a new phone cause these fools messed mine up. Instead of owning up and fixing it, they started threatening me. Can you believe that? So, I decided to take matters into my own hands. I mean, who wouldn't be pissed off, right? I straight up told them that if they didn't cough up 5,000, I was gonna sell off some incriminating pics I had of them. Gave them a deadline of 2 days to pay up or face the consequences. Let's see if they actually come through. So I sent those pics from an untraceable IP address, so they couldn't trace me even if they tried. I don't know how I got the guts to do it. I don't even know how I got smart enough to think of using an untraceable IP address and all that crap. I guess I'm not as dumb as my parents thought I was, LOL. The actor's email handler replied within 24 hours, and yeah, they wired 100,000 to me and told me to delete the picture, which I did. I swear on it. Man, I messed up big time, haha. I deleted the stuff I gave them, but not the other stuff I took. You know how iCloud is, nothing ever really gets deleted. Anyway, I got my money, returned my roommate's phone, and got myself a new one with the cash. I figured I could live off that for a few months, but then the blackmailing started. Those jerks always want more, right? So yeah, I caved and went back for more, just like they knew I would. Man, my life has been a total roller coaster lately. Karma finally paid me a visit and let me tell you, it was way past due. So get this, my ex-boyfriend tries to get back at me by demanding all the money he spent on me during our relationship, including what he dropped on the wedding. Like, seriously. It had been over 6 months and he couldn't just let it go. Talk about holding a grudge. But hey, I can laugh about it now, even though it definitely wasn't funny at the time. Life, man, what a trip. Yo, so this dude couldn't just leave me be, that's why I had to spill my backstory. Trust me, it only gets crazier from here. I was chilling with 10 grand when he hit me up, saying I messed up his life too much and he's done making excuses for me. He said he's coming for me hard. I couldn't believe he had the nerve to even call me. We were at a standstill, so why couldn't he just chill and leave me alone? I already owned up to my mistakes. Yo, so I messed up big time. My ex-boyfriend called me out of the blue and dropped a bomb. He had some naked pics of me with the plumber. He knew I was fooling around behind his back, but he was willing to let it slide because he cared about me. Turns out, he was just waiting for the right moment to screw me over. He hit me with those pics and threatened to show them to my dad if I didn't pay him back for the wedding expenses. And he wasn't gonna stop there, he planned to send them to everyone who mattered in my parents' circle. What a nightmare. So, like, the daughter of those rich and famous high earners was all over the blogs, fighting with some help. Those were the headlines that would have been all over the news. Time for another little backstory. My parents were loaded and had a solid rep for generations. Can't say what they did though, cause then everyone would know who they are, lol. Gotta hand it to my ex, though, he didn't hold back. I didn't really care, tbh. My folks totally thought my rep was trashed when I decided to work after college, lol. And I didn't even tell them about turning down a job my dad hooked me up with. So, it wasn't just my rep that took a hit in their eyes, I also fell for my ex. Their rep was on the line too, so I couldn't just stand by and watch. They wouldn't have been able to hold their heads up high, and their status would have tanked. Things went downhill fast when my ex threatened me with some serious stuff. I knew he wasn't messing around when he sent me that picture. He never started something he couldn't finish, and he always meant what he said. I was scared, which is why I started screwing up. I tried to play it cool and asked him casually how much he dropped on the wedding. He hit me with a bombshell, $100,000. So, I was supposed to get married, but I left him standing at the altar. He said that money was supposed to be for starting a business, but he took it all because he thought I was worth it. He's relieved that he didn't marry me because he thinks I would have made his life hell. He called me to rub it in, scare me, and ask for money, but I said no way. I can't afford to give him $100,000 for something I never even wanted. Is this my fault? Was it right for him to do that? So, he had the nerve to make me pay for something I didn't even want, but karma decided to mess with me and he took advantage of it. I asked him how I was supposed to come up with $100,000, but my ex didn't seem to give a damn. He gave me a month to get the money or else he was going to show my parents some embarrassing photos from all over the world. And he knew my dad's health wasn't great, so it felt like he was trying to kill him. I had no choice but to do what he said. I warned you from the beginning not to judge me, because you never know what you would do in my situation. So, like, I did something I said I wouldn't do because I was really desperate. Desperate times call for desperate measures, you know. I ended up blackmailing this actor, even though looking back, I had no clue what I was getting myself into. I just wanted to make things easier for myself because everything was getting way too overwhelming. I couldn't ask my parents for money cause they'd never give it to me, even though it was for their own good. In the end, I had no choice but to turn to the actor. Promised not to blackmail again, but I didn't want it to seem like it was the same person who did it before. So, I used a different email address. The pictures, though, gave me away because they were the same. I sent the email and I think I forgot to use a fake address because I was so desperate and forgot that I could be traced. I tried to convince myself that a celeb could easily pay a couple $100,000, so I demanded $200,000. I knew I messed up and made my first mistake, but I had a plan. Man, there was this golden chance that I was hoping to grab. I had no clue when I would stumble upon something that could let me kick back and retire for at least the next 2 years, as long as I did a good job. I was practically drooling at the thought of it, but then life had to go and throw a curveball at me. I mentioned the amount to the actor's agent, and suddenly my phone was blowing up with calls from unknown numbers all night long. When I didn't answer, I woke up to an email the next morning saying that the actor wanted to meet me at his swanky mansion to talk about the deal. LOL, like I hadn't seen that coming. Someone tried to threaten me to keep quiet, but I told them I needed the cash to stay hush or else I'd post that pic online and get the actor in trouble. You might be thinking, why would an actor want to hide a pic of themselves having a blast at a club with drinks and people around them? LOL, I was wondering the same thing after my first blackmail attempt worked. So, I did some random Googling and found out that this famous actor was supposed to steer clear of booze in clubs after it came out that he was a drunk actor who said sorry and promised not to drink again. His career was almost over because of the rumors. Now that I had proof he broke his promise, they wanted to erase any evidence I had and shut me up. All I wanted was a couple $100,000. I didn't even ask for $500,000. But I had lost everything. In the end, I refused to meet with them and gave them 3 days to deposit the money in my account. He was a celebrity, he should have that kind of money. Yo, so this dude tried to cover his ass cause he got caught with his hand in the cookie jar, thanks to his agent or whatever they're called. I've been calling him his handler, haha. Anyways, his handler sent me an email with a contract saying I had to delete the pic and not try to extort him again or else they'd sue me. I had to sign with my real name and send it back or they wouldn't give me the money I asked for. That's where I messed up, I should have just told them to duck off. I posted that pic of them and sold it to a blog trying to find the juiciest story. But I didn't think about my ex already blowing up my phone and starting a countdown for me. I was just thinking about all the things I could do with the money. So I signed the contract, they sent the money to my account, and I thought all my problems were gone. I thought it was over because I sent the money to my ex and told him not to call me again. I felt free and thought I could live my life with the extra $200K I made from that. Man, I had this whole plan to live it up without having to work, and I was feeling great. Karma seemed to be on my side, and I was laughing like crazy while sipping on some Chardonnay. But then, out of nowhere, everything went to hell. Turns out my ex hadn't gotten over what I did to him, even after I forked over $100,000 like he asked. He's still convinced I owe him something, and now he's back in my life, demanding more money. I gave it to him because I had it, and then I sent him a long, emotional message. I told him he was screwing up, especially after all the help my parents gave him. I even blocked his number and got a new one. If he wanted to mess with my parents, he wasn't getting any favors from me. I thought I could manage with what I had, but I blew through all my money pretty fast. I never thought I could go broke so quickly. I never imagined 200 grand could disappear so fast until it happened to me. I was broke before I could even blink, and I didn't know what to do next. A month later, my friend was on my case about rent and groceries. This is the same person who always wanted to hang out and spend my cash, but when it came to rent, she was quick to threaten kicking me out. I was in a panic trying to scrape together some cash, and then I remembered meeting this blogger person. We went out to eat one night and she was going on about how she needed a story to keep her job. I made a spur-of-the-moment decision, and that's when my troubles really began. So, I hit up the blogger since we had each other's contact info. I told her I had a juicy story for her, but she had to be willing to fork over some serious cash for it. I assured her the story was worth it, but I was kinda stuck because of some contract. I was getting desperate until the blogger offered me $150,000. She said that was the most she could swing, since her boss couldn't dish out that much for a story. She ended up throwing in some of her own dough, and I ended up selling it to her for $50,000. I was such an idiot, I can't believe I fell for it. The news was already out there before the actor even knew, so he sued the media outlet. And then the blogger snitched on me, so they killed the story before it could blow up. If you were around, you would have known what I was talking about. I should have read the fine print on the contract I signed, but I didn't. Now I'm facing legal trouble because I went all out on a famous actor on ladies' night and took a photo of him. Man, I was in deep shit. I was just chilling at home when the cops showed up at my door. I guess it wasn't hard for them to find me since I didn't bother hiding my IP address, which they tracked using my account number. I left so many loose ends and now I was paying the price. The cops told me I was getting arrested for extortion, spreading lies that ruined someone's reputation, and breaking a contract. All because I didn't know when to stop. I was really broke and needed cash bad. I messed up by getting involved in something I shouldn't have, and now the actor I was working for is taking me to court for breaking our agreement. They even took my phone and deleted all the pics. I didn't realize how screwed I was until the cops told me to get a lawyer or a public defender. That's when it hit me that I was in deep trouble. I had no one to turn to, couldn't even tell my folks. I didn't expect them to bail me out. The cops didn't give me much time to process before they passed me off to a public defender because I hadn't called anyone or gone home. But my parents found out quick after my friend called them. She was there when the cop showed up to take me. I had to go to court and they read me the charges again. It all felt unreal and like I was watching from outside my own body. I couldn't believe I was in that situation. My lawyer could only convince me to pay up. I had to come up with $3 million or else spend 3 years behind bars. I got caught up in some shady business with a rich guy who had some pull. I had no defense because I messed up a contract. My lawyer couldn't get me out of it, so I had to cough up the cash or face time in the slammer. I couldn't handle prison, so I had to turn to my folks for help. I promised them I'd clean up my act if they bailed me out. When I begged my mom, she just shook her head and looked at me sadly. She knew what was going on in her head. She couldn't believe she had raised someone like me. I couldn't believe it was me either. My dad agreed to pay the $3 million fine, but he disowned me first. He told me he couldn't stand the thought of me causing him more trouble, and that he was done with me. From now on, I was dead to him. I overheard them whispering to each other. He had been telling my mom that I needed to grow up and that I had been spoiled my whole life. I thanked my dad as he walked out of the courtroom. I never saw my dad until now as I tell you about the mess I got myself into. It was all because of my own dumb decisions and believing everything my dad told me that day. I thought I was the center of the universe and boy, was I wrong. I finally learned my lesson, read it. I bit off more than I could chew and things didn't turn out like I expected. All I want now is for my parents and ex to forgive me. I'm not sure if all the bad stuff happening to me is karma catching up, but I really hope they can forgive me. Yo, I messed up big time and I said sorry to the actor I was gonna use for my own gain. Hey Reddit fam, I'm back and I'm here to own up to my mistakes and move on from whatever was holding me back. I never thought I'd log back in, but I was curious to see what's been happening and how things are going. You guys are a riot. Someone called me out for acting like a kid and needing to mature, and someone else said karma hasn't caught up with me yet. So, they were saying that I needed to really feel sorry and stuff, but I was like, nah, I needed to lose something big to really regret what I did. So, I thought I should give you an update so you could thank me for changing. I've matured a lot since then, losing my parents and getting disowned made me realize I gotta get my act together. No one had my back except me, so I'm gonna say sorry to the actor and my folks. I'm really sorry and I've learned my lesson. Hey mom and dad, just wanted to let you know that I'm trying to better my life as an actor. I hope I haven't caused any extra stress or complications for you. If I have, I hope you can forgive me. I'm in the process of getting my life back on track. I'm going to delete my account on here, and I hope you can learn something from what I've been through. Thanks for listening to my story today. If you liked it, please give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have a story of your own, feel free to share. Hey, if you need anything about your situation or someone else's, just hit me up. Take care.